Hey, WokeNFree Nation. Newsly is an audio app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice.
For the first time in the history of the internet, the entire web becomes listenable. Browse articles from topics you choose and start playing. Stop scrolling, start listening.
You can follow any topic as specific as you like, from sports, science, to Bitcoin, or even one of your favorite celebrities. It will find you the latest articles and read them to you aloud.
And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 50 countries. Our podcast, WokeNFree, is there too.
Now let's get into the episode. Hi, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 265th episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we're asking the question, can your hobby reveal anything about your personality? But before we dive deep into the subject, a couple of things to cover. First, have you not only gone to WokeNFree.com to listen to this episode, but have you downloaded it through the Podbean app? If not, please do so immediately. If you've got the app, then you can put in your comments and you can tell us what your thoughts are to this week's question. So definitely do that. Now, if you listen to podcasts on a device where you can't download more apps on it, then that's depressing, but that's okay. The alternative then would be to go to WokeNFree.com, go on the Listen tab, and then pick your platform of choice where you're going to follow and subscribe to WokeNFree at. So we are on iTunes, we're on TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, we have our YouTube channel, please subscribe, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, we're everywhere. It's a WokeNFree world. So lots of places to follow and subscribe to the show on other platforms if you cannot download the Podbean app directly. Also, on WokeNFree.com, you can click subscribe to follow the show through Podbean itself. And then on social, you can always find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, and LinkedIn at WokeNFree. And if you have 90 seconds, which is really kind of more of a statement than less of a question, go to WokeNFree.com. Go to the Listen tab and then pick your platform of choice where you'd like to review the show at. So we have tons of 5-star reviews on iTunes, which is really nice. We'd love to have more. And, we want to hear how the show is feeding into you, what you enjoy most about it, and anything else you'd like to share. Now, next, I'm going to have to kick it to you, Khalil.
And then before we start the conversation, I would like us to share a little bit about ourselves. This week we're asking, would you rather hitchhike with strangers across country or get cross-country by train hopping?
Now, just to clarify, train hopping is taking trains illegally or legally?
It's legally.
Legally?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And is this by yourself or with a group?
This is going to be by yourself for the train hopping.
Okay, interesting. So for safety reasons, I would choose that option.
That's what you go with just because of safety?
The hitchhiking, like we saw that really good movie with Sophia Bush. Hitchhike, I think it's Sophia Bush was in it. I loved her.
Maybe.
I think so. And that, doing too much. Doing too much. It was killing, it was crazy, doing too much. And so that seeing the words hitchhike and strangers in my mind, it just creates too much trauma. So I think I want to go A, as long as it's the legal option and I'm by myself.
You're choosing B then.
Yeah, I'm choosing to go cross country by different trains legally and by myself.
All right.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, I would say that for the first option, that's the cheapest option, hitchhiking with strangers. That could be very cheap, because maybe they may only ask for gas money. But the problem is...
eat you alive, yeah.
The problem is all movies are real and factual, so you definitely have to follow if you've seen a horror movie.
Oh, you're so asinine.
So that leaves you only
all
with certain
movies
options.
So Yoda's like a real person.
Well, it's based off some real universe.
Out somewhere in the world.
That's according to just movie magic, that all movies must be real. I think that's a...
Don't say that.
Isn't that... I don't know, that's like something somewhere.
So your answer is you're going to go...
That's not my answer.
So what's your answer?
Now I have to jump to the answer, because the other thing I wanted to tell you is that the thing that I'm thinking about is when I go cross country, I'd actually want to be able to sleep. So if you go with these strangers, you can't sleep in the car with the strangers, but if you're on a train, you can sleep comfortably, you can get some food, you can get up and stretch your feet out.
Definitely
without stopping.
Sharing how little
you
know about train rides. But
no, you can. I mean, I've done that, so that's the thing. I mean, I haven't done it to get across the whole country, but if you can do all this stuff. It's just up to you. You just gotta... I would go with the train hopping just because of that, because you can definitely... There's more chance of you being well rested if you do the train hopping compared to the cheaper option with strangers who are just gonna like... I mean, I guess the strangers, you get to know different people.
And also, it's a real reason actually why you can't do the stranger and the hitchhiking
Why?
COVID. You could expose yourself. It'd be terrible.
Well, you should never expose yourself to somebody. You should always be clothed. Right? I mean, that's not going to let them...
That's not the direction I was going.
Okay.
I meant exposure to potential strangers with COVID, not physical exposure of yourself or others.
That's like taking an Uber, though. I don't know if that's... that could be a reason, but if you're so scared, wear 30 masks. I mean, just do your own
thing.
Correct. Because there's ways around that. I mean, we gotta think about that. And what's cool about being with the strangers is that you could actually learn new hobbies.
That's the transition there. Sloppy and excellent as
if anybody did want to choose that, they could actually learn hobbies from them. Now, if they did learn about these hobbies from the strangers, here's the great question. Could revealing that hobby, could that actually reveal anything about their personality?
Whack.
No, just think about it. From the strangers, that maybe their hobby, it actually outs them on some other stuff.
Si, senor.
Isn't that interesting how that ties in?
Si.
It ties in pretty well. It's seamless.
Perfecto.
So now, even though you're with strangers, the hobby may reveal something about their personality.
Can't wait for the stand-up.
The stand-up? How's that stand-up when I'm showing you how things are always
showing
connected?
Me through audio.
Yeah. I'm showing
exactly.
You can show with audio, too, if you want.
Lord,
you can visualize the audio waves.
Correct. So, according to themindsjournal.com, there is a very robust article or blog post around your hobbies revealing more about your personality. And so, to answer your question, yes, your hobby does say a lot about you. Apparently, what you do in your free time can tell a lot about what kind of person you are. So, they go through not every hobby, but a lot of different hobbies. So, I can call out some of them, and we'll definitely include the link for you to check it out. WokeNFree Nation on the episode on WokeNFree.com. So if you're interested in photography, that means that you are more likely to be artistic, imaginative, detail-oriented, sensitive and thoughtful, flexible and patient, self-motivated, passionate, and ambitious. Sounds
ambitious?
Mm-hmm. There's more to it. Yep.
For photography?
Then for folks who are into gardening, you're more curious, you're wise, knowledgeable, you're kind and generous. You have an ability to think analytically. I thought that was interesting. See, that to me
is how they show gardeners in movies all the time. With those traits, that's when I see a movie and they're somebody gardening, all those traits apply to that person.
For folks interested in fitness and sports, they're more likely to be self-disciplined, motivated, driven, competitive, resilient, have the ability to learn from failure, have the ability to manage stress.
Okay.
Interesting.
I could agree with that one.
And just a couple more. I
or
think
you're not
so.
sure?
It depends. I wouldn't say that in my inner network I have that many fitness-oriented hobbyists. I would say I have friends and close people in my network that sports was a part of their career. I don't know if I would say that in my lifetime I've had people who dabble in sports for a hobby.
Sports and fitness, though, not
sports
just
and fitness, but as a hobby, not as your career.
Fitness, fitness can be a hobby.
So, I'm saying I don't know if
Sports
I've
can be
befriended those types of people.
You have,
so
you have to be friends or associates with them.
Or yeah, like for
what
me
if
to be
you
able to
even
assess those
Oh,
character
alright.
traits. That's what I'm
So
trying to
you're not
say.
even
Yeah,
sure.
because I would say the people who've had fitness in their life, it's been their career. So yeah, they're determined. Yeah, they're focused. Yeah, they're able to, work through things. But it's like, the fitness was a more intense part of their life. So I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Cooking, detail oriented. These are people who have good observation skills, attention to detail, multitasking skills, intuitive, ability to work under pressure, and like I said, there's a ton more, like reading. These are folks who are highly empathetic, emotionally stable, expressive and self-aware, imaginative, knowledgeable, creative thinkers. And then two more things. Writing, for folks who use writing as a hobby, they're more thoughtful, detail-oriented, artistic, sensitive, self-aware, empathetic. But they're
sensitive. Okay. Mm-hmm. Writers are sensitive.
I know. Volunteering, these are selfless people, highly empathetic and compassionate, kind and caring, self-motivated, natural leaders, active problem solvers.
Natural leaders just from volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Traveling, those are folks who are adventurous, high self-awareness, willingness to try new things, mentally flexible, open to change, independent and observant. Lots of interesting traits there.
I could see that.
Now, one thing I had to bring up, and I don't know how you think about this. Cinephile? Is that how you say it?
Cinephile.
Cinephile. Okay. Yeah.
Don't get it confused with the other file.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, why did they use that word? I know. That is just
acting like you have a syndrome or
something.
Like
doing too much here. These are people who are into watching movies, so you and I would both be say the word again?
Cinephile.
Cinephile. Okay. So if you're a cinephile, you are introvert, prefer to spend time alone. Sometimes, similar to readers, you have a high IQ, critical thinking mindset, curious, love exploring new worlds, empathetic.
Oh yeah. Definitely love exploring new worlds.
So I thought this was interesting. So to answer your question.
That's funny, empathetic, because just because you're cinephile doesn't mean you like all types of movies.
Correct.
That's interesting.
Because you could also be like a cinephile who's only into killer films, right? Like slasher films. I don't know how empathetic that is.
And that doesn't necessarily mean you're empathetic, because you like seeing people injured.
Slice and dice. Like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you can say a cinephile is empathetic.
One of my favorite genres. I don't know what that says about me. But
yeah, but if you could, you would do gardening if there were no bugs.
If there were no bugs, I absolutely would. But then, what about your nails, though? What about
Remember, you wear gloves.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
You can wear really long gloves.
So as long as I can
and
wear
then,
gloves.
The new age gardening, you don't even have to touch the dirt or nothing. You just put a lamp and then you sit there and watch it.
Oh, I could do that.
Yeah, they have the new age gardening.
I'm not going to sit and watch dirt, though.
No, you don't have to watch it, but I mean, you just set it up and the plant takes care of itself.
Oh, yes, that I could do.
Some people do
if that constitutes as a hobby, then I would do that.
Well, of course it's a hobby. Now, some people might not call it gardening. They might say you have to have a green thumb to really be a gardener.
You have to really be in it. And
yeah, you got to be into pulling stuff and getting in.
But to your point, if there's bugs involved, I'm hard pass.
That's what would really, I think that's what would be.
But how about you? To answer the question, do you feel that a person's hobby can reveal something about that person's personality?
You're now listening to WokeNFree.
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 A podcast that keeps it real and keeps it honest.
I mean, it has to when you think about it. Because some of them, especially if you just went through the ones that you listed, like the travel one, I think, of course, you're adventurous. Because then you wouldn't. Correct. Why would you be traveling? If you're not into adventures and you travel, then you're into a world of hurt, right? Or because everything will be an adventure. It would be weird. Like I hate adventures, but you know what? I want to go and visit every place in the world. It's like you don't know. It's almost like the hobby. I mean, you can kind of define some of the qualities of the person by the with what I'm trying to say is like. So just
like
taking the traveling,
traits go in association with the hobby. The
traits can define the hobby kind of thing. So it's like if I say somebody that's adventurous, explorative,
that's like it goes.
No, I think
it's that. Oh, okay, from the
I'm
trait
saying
to
it's
the hobby, not the hobby to the trait.
So as the person has all these traits, it's like of course they would do that hobby. So and then it works where since you know their hobby, you can actually figure out traits about them.
Their traits,
but technically, I don't. It's kind of like the hobby didn't come first. I think the traits
chicken
were
and
there.
the egg situation, because that's what I was thinking about with this episode. Like,
but
is it the chicken and the egg? Like, is it that you're hobby defines your personality, or your personality defines your hobby.
No, it's definitely the personality is always there, because even when you find a new hobby, sometimes it just fits because you're like, oh, wow.
Because it works with the traits that you have, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I definitely...
I agree. I think that you develop these traits, which then lend for the hobbies that you pick up. But then the only difference, though, where it can switch from chicken and egg to chicken, is that you could pick up a new hobby and then part of your because your personality changes and evolves as you get older.
But what if you just had hidden traits that you didn't know about?
Or that too, you could have. So it depends on how you want to view it, essentially. Yeah, exactly.
So that can happen as well.
What would you say are your top 3 hobbies, and how did you choose them?
Well, I hate having to categorize and say what's the top.
That's my only Virgo, just all day long.
So I guess I could say they're the top that I would just think of right now, because they're definitely things that I'm into every day. So the top 3 would definitely, let's start with number 1 is video games. Okay. I think number 1, and I choose that because, I've been playing games all my life, so to say it's not my top would be kind of crazy. And I was really into it when I was younger. I would get the strategy guides. I would learn. I would read all the reviews. Like, I was really into it. Okay. Yeah, I'd read the news on it and read the developers' perspectives and all that good stuff. But I don't do all that now. Now I look at some. I'll look at some video. I actually will probably look at more video reviews than actually spend time playing the video games. That's the funny thing. Now I just
consume more content around gaming.
Yeah, just seeing. I'm like, wow, that game seems fun. Then I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome.
That's what I get to do now. Or I say, oh man, good thing I don't have time to play that game because it would be a big drag anyway.
Nice.
So that's all I get to decide. I'd be like, oh, that could be a cool game to never play, and that could be a game that I never want to play.
Cologne, that's so depressing.
Yeah, but I still try to get games even if I'm not going to play them. Like, I try to hoard them when I can.
How wonderful.
But it's in digital form, so it's not, I don't have to go on Hoarders and they see
don't throw shade at my way, but keep going.
Oh, my way or the highway. Good one.
Correct.
That's what you're thinking. And my second one is anime. And I choose that because, again, that was something that I got really into. Like, especially I had to name, like, the first one that was, not the first, but one that got me, like, really into was Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
That's, like, the most famous anime of all time. For good reason. I think it's one of the highest grossing, too. But with that, again, I would know all the stuff about the characters. I was, like, people would come to me and say, oh, who's the best? Like, who's better? And I could say why and how. And why this person can do this and how they'll never be able to lose. Like, I was really into it. I knew a lot of stuff about it. So, and then now I watch a lot of new types of animes too. I'm just really into them because they have, like, more mature themes than just cartoons, and even they beat out shows sometimes in their themes. Now, the acting is never up to snuff, but I like the themes of it. Okay. Of the anime, so that's definitely number 2. And number 3, that's why I hate doing these top 3. It could be in any order. Is I like new tech. I count that as a hobby.
Like, so, owning it and playing with it? Okay.
Everything about just the whole thing.
Yeah,
new
just
tech.
a techie. Yeah.
So you could buy,
you
could buy a new gadget that's electronic, and I'm into it. I want to learn everything about it. I want to read the manual. Like, I do all that kind of stuff. I know,
you're into that stuff. It's
I like that's exciting just to see, how did this get put together? The warranty on it, when this can break, stuff like that.
Exactly the same way.
Right, it's good to know.
Our son is, he gets a new toy and instead he turns it around and wants
he flips it over and looks at the back.
What's the back?
Where's the screws at?
All of that.
Yeah, he looks at the labeling on it.
Replicated yourself, that trait of yours into our son. So that's fantastic. Okay. My top 3 hobbies. I know it's hard to only choose 3, but it's meaningful for our listeners because, listen, we could go on for an hour and a half talking about all of our hobbies.
But I would only need a top 15 at most.
Exactly.
At most.
That's not unreasonable. Not reasonable at all. I mean, come on, man.
But that's the most that I would go.
So, number 1, reading for me. My dad really wanted to emphasize the idea that, reading was not big in his household. I don't even know I don't believe his parents were literate. So he pretty much became, like, into education through his exposure growing up and the people around him. And then when he raised me here in America, in New York, he definitely drilled down the importance of your mind has to be constantly evolving and learning and growing. So reading is everything. And the first book and my favorite book that we shared was The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and just everything for me. Next, writing. I've been writing poetry since I was 6. I didn't really have a lot of friends. Nothing really new there. But what I did have is my mind and my creative juices, and I would write little stories and things like that. And so for me, writing is a safe place. I don't necessarily always love everything that I write, but I definitely enjoy to write little poems, and I'm currently working on a journal for KJ that details my life as his mother. So, I like that. And then say this cinephile? How do you say it?
Yeah, cinephile.
Cinephile, because it's tripping me up, man.
You never heard that before?
No, it's getting weird to me.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's been around for a while.
It's getting a little bit weird. So watching film. So growing up, one of the big influences for my life was my mom is an identical twin, and my mom's identical twin's daughter was really into horror films, and she traumatized me with one of the Michael Myers movies that we were watching. But ever since then, I've actually been really obsessed about it. I think part of it is because she just growing up and having her, we're 4 years apart, having her influence, and, she's a very accomplished person, and thus I, coming behind her, wanted to also equally be accomplished, and generally in our family, just accomplishment was that or like fall off the planet kind of thing. So, for me, just film, because it meant so much to her and I really enjoyed them, even though they scared the hell out of me. It just became a part of my life. And so that's how I started it. And horror is still one of my favorite genres. I still do love a good rom-com. I love also drama, some action. It depends. It can't be too like Rambo type of action, but if there's some thought behind it.
Yeah, right. You like Fast and Furious.
I do love a good, but that's with cars though. And so because there's little nifty gadgets here, there's
lots of gadgets in there.
Handsome men, and we're talking. Paul Walker, I miss you, I miss you, I miss you. So there's things like that. So those are my top 3.
Wowzers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like your personality would be different if you had different hobbies?
Absolutely. Similar to what we're talking about. Like, so say I grew up in a large family. I do have a large family, but like sibling wise, I didn't grow up with my brothers. So I grew up pretty much by myself, other than my cousin that I was mentioning. And so maybe if I did that and we were a family that went out hiking every weekend, or
mountain biking,
right? Like, or gardening, or playing actually just in the dirt. Like, I would look at the outdoors as a kid. Like, why would you like even go outside?
You never played with worms and stuff as a kid?
Absolutely not. Horrific. I saw that in film.
But with all these insects and stuff.
Yeah, different
stuff.
life. I don't know what that life is. So I feel like I would be different, and I would be able to go outdoors without screaming Jesus every time a bee or a fly near me. So yeah, I think fishing, gardening, hiking, those were things that I grew up with, I probably would have a different temperament. I probably would have different value system, etc. How about you?
Yeah, I think I definitely would have different hobbies if my personality was different.
Mm-hmm.
If I wasn't into, like, I don't know, if I wasn't into, like, critical thinking, I don't think I'd be so into tech, to be honest.
Sure.
Like, really
Problem
getting
solving,
into it.
yeah, you're into that, man.
Yeah, I would just kind of use all the tech as a tool. I wouldn't be so interested in it and get, like, really engaged by it. So I know that if my personality was different,
really
my hobbies would
nuts.
definitely be different. I wouldn't be into some of the stuff that people consider like nerd hobbies. I wouldn't be into that.
Listen, nerds are in. Nerds are trending. And thankfully so. The world is run by nerds. So if people have a problem with it, get with it. That's where the money's at. So then that begs the question, are you interested in any new hobbies? If so, why?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in new hobbies, but they're not like so far off from my other hobbies, and I think they still reflective of my personality.
Okay.
So the one hobby I'd like to do is definitely fly drones, because I think that seems kind of fun, just to
living your truth of techie.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like living the dream. You get to fly out into outer space and visit aliens and stuff.
And maybe you will meet Yoda.
Because that's what's cool. You could combine it with your imagination and just be like, oh, I'm flying a spaceship and I'm near Mars right now.
Exactly.
Exactly. So that's what I imagine.
So that's
that
not a new hobby. That's an existing hobby.
How's that existing hobby?
It's within the world of technology. So you're saying you just want to expand your existence. So you don't want nothing that you don't already currently do.
Well, I don't fly drones.
I know, but you do have, don't you have?
I have a drone, but I don't fly it.
Well, you sporadically fly it.
Because when you have a drone hobby, you go to the park and you fly it around and you think about stuff.
You don't even make sense.
Ideas pop in and out of your mind while you fly.
As opposed to any other time in your life.
Yeah, see, that's so much different than when I fly my drone.
What are you doing when you're flying your drone?
Just crashing it.
But you're not thinking at all.
No, there's no thinking involved.
How lovely.
Try not to crash.
So you're just a mindless zombie.
Yeah, because I don't do it as a hobby. I just do it as like a fiddle.
Fiddle?
Yeah, I don't know what you...
Fiddle biddle?
You know when people dabble and stuff, I fiddle in droning.
Fiddle biddle.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I could do the flying drones, and the other hobby I could do is build robots. Yes. That's the other hobby I'd like to get into. In my mind, it'd be cool because I can make
as big as the ones like in X-Men, or are we talking?
No, just a human-sized robot.
So like iRobots.
Like a bodyguard robot I'd build for me.
So it can take you out eventually.
Why would it take me out? It's protecting me. I feel like it'd be like Man of Steel.
Have you not watched the Terminator series?
No, but I'd make it so it's Man of Steel and it protects you. And have you seen Star Wars? It's kind of like R2-D2. That never comes after Anakin. That's the kind of robot I build. So is it just a beeping and a little beep beep beep? No, but it's gonna be more like the scared robot, the C-3PO.
Oh, I love him.
Where he walks around.
He's English too. Doesn't he make sense?
Yeah, no, he doesn't. No, I wouldn't want him though, because he's just a loser, to be honest.
He's very pensive.
Yeah, because he's looking out for self. Yeah, I want one like R2-D2.
I love him. He's always like, ooh, fear is always the appropriate response.
Yeah, see, but imagine having him, but he was actually a bodyguard.
Nope, because I fear that he would turn around and say, I'll show you what bodyguard looks like.
No, you just gotta pay him handsomely, and then you'll be okay.
Here we go.
Just know, because if you have a robot, treat them right, and they'll treat you right.
I'll be back.
And actually, you can program it to "Don't hurt me ever," or "You done."
Okay.
That's what I would tell the robot. I would put that in the code. If you hurt me, you don't exist anymore.
Finito.
So there'd be a self-destruct switch if it tried to get me. But just think about it. If I built that robot, that'd be great for me. I'd have a bodyguard for life.
Until KJ learns how to disassemble it or break it down or just throw things at it, because you know him.
No, he can't do that. He's going to break it.
I mean, he's like...
It's not meant to be thrown around like that.
All right. So
those are my new hobbies.
Those are your new hobbies. Exactly.
Wait, I didn't say I want to be a Rubik's Cube 2-minute solver or something. You know, some people do that for
bodybuilder or nothing.
Oh, I mean, I could say that, but I'm not going to ever do it, so it's like...
But would you want to if you could?
In my mind, yeah, I could, yeah.
That'd be fun. That's okay.
But but it's not... I was thinking of things that were actually a possibility.
Going to put in to do it. Well, it is a possibility. If you want
well, I mean, anything's a possibility. I could be a skateboarder too, right?
Oh, here we go.
See, that's why I have my skateboard, because that hobby could exist
The one from when you were in junior high?
See, you don't know. That's a skateboard that has a lot of sentimental value.
I bet it does.
So when I show it to KJ, he'll be able to use it.
Say, this should be in a museum, Mama.
No.
That's what he'll say.
He's going to say you were ahead of your time, Dad.
Yes.
Yes, he's going to say that.
We'll go with that answer. Okay, so for me, thinking of parenting on the mind, as always, I would say, I would be open to exploring new hobbies. I take a ton of pictures of KJ and us as a family. So as a kid, and when I was in high school, I did a photography class, and it really excited me. I was like really nervous to do it because I wasn't sure how I perform. And of course, I had to have an A in the class. Otherwise, that would have been crazy.
You got nervous from that.
I was a little bit nervous, but I would actually be open to learning how to be a better photographer and, picking that hobby up. I also, I love eating and I feel like for me, cooking is usually just a smattering of putting things together and just doing it. But maybe there is a space where I could be a little bit more intentional with my cooking and actually learn how to cook and bake things more,
Wow.
and so like I could be just a better chef and baker and things like that, because it would just help KJ as I want him to embrace cooking and cleaning and baking and all of that and seeing that as something that could be fun and relaxing. And then also definitely, I'm very proud of myself. I would say I've gotten a lot more physical as we've gotten older, and given that I never wanted to go outside, I like actively will go out and work out early in the morning, and I'm really proud of myself for it. I'm not obviously consistent 7 days a week, but nonetheless doing a lot better than I used to years ago. So I would also say I could see a future where I'm more physical. And so, yeah, I think so. Would it change my existing personality based on the things that I've mentioned? No, I think my traits align with those hobbies. So, and similar with yours, you just mentioned things that are pretty much just an expansion of your existing personality.
But I forgot one that I just thought of one, and then it made me think of one for you. But one for me that I thought about was I'd like to do I don't know what it's called, but I call it like masonry for statues. I'd like to make statues.
Excuse you?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a Freemason, but I'd like to make statues.
Are you joking?
No, wouldn't that be cool? It's almost like the robot.
Statues?
Yeah, like the gargoyles and stuff.
Yeah, but isn't there fire involved in that?
Oh man, that brought up another hobby. So now you got, all right. So now I got 2 hobbies, but
okay.
I don't think there has to be. It depends what the material you're using for doing the statue.
I don't
because you can make statues out of ice, out of snow too, if you wanted to. I mean, you really could order it out of sand, but I'm not saying I'd want to do that. I'd want to do like stone or marble
now that you mentioned that, or
brass.
I'd be interested in pottery because I've been.
So that's what I was going to say for you. I thought you'd do some sort of art hobby.
Ooh.
That's why that's funny. You didn't mention
I know. I get so scared because I'm like,
that you'd want to be like a famous painter or something.
I actually, yep. So we'll add that to the list. I would say probably I will. I plan to make more art pieces. I have already made art pieces, but I plan to make more. So yeah. There you go.
So then the last thing I would do, and I forgot, I definitely do this, and this because you mentioned the fire thing. I forgot, but that was a while ago. I was watching a show, and it was called Forged in Fire, and I love that show because they make weapons. They make metal weapons, swords mostly, but they'll do axes and stuff. But that, I would love to make swords because it's crazy. It's it's a hot mess. No, because it's like an art too. You got to know the timing. You got to get it down. You got to bang away. It's physical. It's physical art. It's really cool. And then you have a weapon at the end of the day. You could defend yourself, so it's pretty good too.
Ready for the apocalypse.
Yeah, you just get some hunks of metal together, start heating it up, banging it up, cooling it off.
This makes sense.
Yeah, so I forgot. I would love to, be a forge artist.
Oof, okay, that sounds intense, but I love that for you.
Now that one's tough though, because you got to you can't do it within your house, or you're burning your house down.
No, yeah, you have to go to.
You have to have a separate area where you could have, because it is about fire. It literally is fire.
Horrifying. Okay,
it would be hard for you because of the heat and the banging.
God, I can't. No,
and you can get your hands cut up with the sharpness. Things flying.
But if that's what you want, I'm happy. For
yeah, and that one. See, that's different than any of my other hobbies.
Yes, that is very different. So that sounds. I would actually, but I'm still hoping for the bodybuilding.
Not the statue making.
No.
Because I can make you a gargoyle.
That's cool, but bodybuilding's cooler. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, in his heyday.
I can make Arnold Schwarzenegger statue
with your body? Yeah.
If I had the hobby, I could make a huge statue and then it could scare off.
But you could also make the big muscles too, yeah.
Oh, on the statue?
On your body.
See, that's very interesting.
I'm
very interesting.
Yeah.
Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time, guys. Scenario 1: Yusa was slot car racing with another hobbyist. One of her cars flew off the track because of a paint imperfection. Should she be granted another chance to race her car to prove its worth, or is that just tough luck?
Slot car racing. I feel
why did you say it like that? Why did you? This is a real hobby that people have. Why did you say that? And these are really cool people that do it. They're just spectacular. No, they are.
I don't know why you ask me these questions.
Why are you trying to don't be judging people for their hobbies?
I'm trying to understand what life this is.
Oh, okay.
Because I've never slot car racing. Don't even make sense to me.
You're so messed up.
I don't know what the rules of the regulations are of this
I don't know
race.
them.
So, for this paint imperfection.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even know how your car can fly off because of paint.
Well, these are little cars, though. They're not. This is not a full car.
Are ants driving them?
So you're so messed up. That's not. Oh, that's what brings up another option.
Oh, God.
Because I just thought, I want to do the slot car racing, but I'd want to do like little remote control car drift racing. Drift racing. I was like, there was one point I was watching the videos. You could drift the little remote control car. You could drift them. No drift. You remember Fast and Furious Drift? Like Tokyo Drift.
Like Tokyo Drift.
Drift like that. It's really crazy though to watch the small cars doing it. They're nuts.
And I bet those adults behind those controllers feel they're really cool too.
Well, they have expensive cars too. They have one car that could go like 80 miles per hour or something.
Nice.
And you wouldn't guess. People pay thousands of dollars for that car.
God bless him.
Why are you laughing? What if a car runs over your $1,000 car? What would you say? Wouldn't you be upset?
I guess I'll have to resort to slot car racing.
Yeah. This is a cool hobby. I don't know why you laugh at it. People do it and they have fun. They go on their weekends.
God help my
Kids do this. It's a thing.
Oh, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
see, there's hobbies that you would never even known about.
Exactly. Every day is an opportunity to learn something new.
Did you know what slot car racing is? It's know what's funny? You saw it and you didn't realize they had it at the Phoenix Children's Museum.
Oh.
It's where you take little size cars, you drop them down on a track, and they just and their the gravity moves the cars around. So the track is almost like a roller coaster.
So to answer your question, I don't know the rules and regulations of the slot car racing as a sport or a hobby, whatever. So, if she could be granted another opportunity, I guess my answer would be depending upon what the regulations of the race is. If your car flies off and it's one and done and that's it, and that's the regulations that everyone's agreed upon for the race, then no. But if there is an opportunity to try again, then obviously yes. But
even if that breaks her heart,
it's not about your heart.
She's been waiting all these weekends to try out her car, and then it doesn't even get to finish.
Yeah,
the race.
But it's about rules and regulations, right? Whatever.
Wow. But this is a hobby, though.
But it's a real race that people agree to participate in, and so you have to be equitable and fair, and to do that, you have to create rules. As long as the rules are not inequitable, then we have to adhere to them. And
so you say follow the rules.
Follow the regulations. If the regulations say no, then it's a hard pass.
So what I say is, this is a hobby, and as long as you're not competing against other, like, if you're not in a league or anything, you're not competing against anybody, I don't think there's any reason that you can't race again. Okay. I think the rules to me should be loosey-goosey, to be honest, because it's just a hobby. It's like, it's not brain surgery.
But it's a hobby for her, but if whatever race she's entered, I don't know if that's the hobby, is a hobbyist space, right? It depends on the spaces you're in. So so kind of like you can join a competition and it's just a hobby for you, but the competition is a professional competition.
Yeah, some people
if it's a professional competition, it doesn't matter if you're not taking it serious. Yeah. It's a professional competition. So it depends on the space she happens to be in.
All right. Scenario 2. Kaploan Yi worked hard to become the head of her local chess club. Now that she has won so many times, she says she can checkmate just by thinking about it. In her mind, this means it is pointless to play anyone else since she is so great. Should she find a new hobby since she has mastered it? Or does she need to first be a chess grandmaster before quitting?
Ooh, interesting question for scenario 2. Okay. So, it depends. It depends on what she's tried, what type of validation she's looking for. If she wants external validation, then becoming a chess grandmaster would give her that. And so then if she achieved that status, then she could walk away from the hobby saying, hey, she's reached this level, and ... If the validation only needs to be internal, and it sounds like she, in her mind, thinks very highly of herself and her ability to be a master at chess, then she wouldn't need to pursue being a chess grandmaster.
But you yourself know chess. Is it possible to just think, and checkmate somebody?
I haven't played chess since I was in junior high on an ongoing basis.
Okay, but when you played in junior high, were you ever able to checkmate somebody just by thinking about it?
No.
Okay, so there's a process if you want to checkmate somebody in chess.
You have to actually play the game, yes.
Okay.
You
just
can
clarifying
say
that.
and do things, whatever you want to do in your mind, but you actually have to move
You have to play.
the pieces and
Okay.
actually play an opponent.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. People may have not known that, so now they know
this
you
is
do.
more than a mental game.
There's a process of playing
Now,
to
the
get
game
to checkmate.
you play in your mind is oriented out, hopefully, on the chessboard itself. But ultimately, you've got to play the game.
But isn't there like unlimited like games that could be played in chess, like or something like that?
Probably, yeah. I mean,
there's like a ton of ways the game
yeah.
could go. It's not even like
But
there's only 5 ways.
There's specific moves you can memorize to be able to, like, if you do this, the other person does this, and how you can get to checkmate faster. But yeah.
So you're almost a chess grandmaster. See how you said that?
I did not say anything particularly interesting or extraordinary or something that could not be Googled at that point. What is your answer?
Really? I mean, I'm no chess grandmaster in any sense of it, so I think that she definitely needs to keep playing, and like you said, she's got to play the game to actually win the game. You can't just play it in your mind and think that's it, so I think stick with this hobby, and once you get that grandmaster title, then you can decide if you want to continue on, because maybe you're bored of it then, I don't know. Or you could still be the grandmaster and see, because there's always a robot or computer that comes around and beats the human. So maybe you can still just keep playing and just lose and win, lose, win. Just do that to the end of time. If you like the game, keep playing it. Scenario 3. Ingo is trying to decide whether it's better to join a book club or a film club. He loves movies, but his mother always told him books are for smart people. Should he join a book club to prove that he's smart?
Oh, interesting. Wow. So, life is short, and you should do what makes you happy. If he technically prefers film over books, then he should join a film club, because it would be an opportunity for him to grow and flex as a cinephile.
Yeah.
And that would probably be more meaningful than making the decision to do something to appease his mother and then secretly regretting that decision and or even resenting her for not supporting his passion for film. Because to be into films as a cinephile does not mean you're less intelligent than an avid reader. It just means your intelligence and creativity is shared differently. So I say go for the film club if that's what he really wants. Now, if he has a plethora of time, then technically I would recommend both, because your mind can be expanded in multiple different ways.
Oh,
so
wow.
why not read and
both.
why not film? Do film. But if he has limited time like most people, go for the film club.
All right. And I don't remember, but I almost thought that you mentioned the cinephile they usually have the personality trait of a higher IQ. I don't know if you mentioned that or something. So I think that's interesting that the mom thinks that you got to read
People
books.
think a lot of foolishness.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's the reason to do one of these hobbies, is to try to prove something to somebody. So definitely just pick your hobby based on what you like to do. It's supposed to be for enjoyment. I don't think it's for anybody else but the person doing it, right?
Exactly.
I would think. So in this case, I would think he probably wants to do the film club. So, because he loves movies. So yeah, just do the film club. And you should always be reading books anyway on the side. That's
exactly. And you don't have to join a book club to read books. But it's nice. Obviously, I have a book club as well. It's really nice when people do it and don't have hiccups. But at the end of the day, please be happy. Please do what you want to do in this life. Spend time with people who you want to spend time with. Don't be concerned about what people think about you, your personality, or your hobbies. Because who cares?
But we still got to follow one thing you said, is that you cannot checkmate just by thinking about it. So you got to actually play the game.
Well, not for actual reality. I mean, I'm not talking about like the metaverse and all that other stuff. But
okay, but you think in life there are some things you can do just by thinking about it and without doing a process.
No, you're just making fun of a Golden Girls episode.
No, I'm actually making fun of something else that you don't know about. Maybe the listeners will figure it out.
Is it the Inception thing in the mind?
No, it's a political thing.
Oh.
That's
okay.
going on.
So do you want to mention it or no?
Oh, I mean, I could, but I think people would know it. If they should know. I said it so many times, so if you don't know it, then you gotta know. Oh, or maybe I should mention it. Okay, I'll just mention it, since it's maybe ambiguous and people might not know.
Yeah.
Well, just apparently, our previous president said that as a president, you can declassify documents just by thinking about it without a process. So that's why I'm just asking.
That was the reference point. Okay,
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about, I think Rose was saying, or is it Dorothy or something was saying something in her mind or something, I thought, or maybe, yeah, but that's a different reference.
Yeah, it's good. I don't know.
Oh, no, was it not? No,
is there anything else similar? I've never heard this.
No, or someone said I saw it in my mind.
I think, therefore I am.
Exactly.
Is that what you remember?
I revert back to my earlier statement of you being
a thinker?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the term we'll call that.
Oh, alright, because there's what I'm wondering. There was no other Golden Girls thinking thing. Are you thinking of the show where the person said, I think it in my mind?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's not the Golden Girls, but it's something else.
I thought I said it. You know, that was in it's the one where the woman broke up with him. With the polygamist. Wasn't that one? Or you're not even thinking about that?
Was it? Oh, you're talking about Sister Wives?
Yeah, she said that at one point.
Mary? Or no?
I don't know whose name
Maybe it was Mary who
but
said
one of them said that.
Something
she said,
about
well, I thought it in my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. A long, twisty road this life is.
But you think there was a Golden Girls reference to thinking
maybe not,
of sudden
but
action?
I do have this complete series, so
you should see. I don't think. I mean, I can say.
Maybe not.
There could be a reference
it's all
that's similar.
Melting together. But at the end of the day, we are at that time again. Thank God. It's coming to the end of our 265th episode of
WokeNFree.
Quite the episode asking the question, can your hobby reveal anything about your personality? What do folks have to do now, Khalil?
Come back next week for the new WokeNFree Wednesday episode. Make sure you follow us on social media to follow along in the conversation, and make sure you tune in next week for WokeNFree Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you'd like to be a guest on our show, we definitely will consider topics and your storylines for 2023. Hit us up on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. That's WokenFree.com. For social, you can always find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest and LinkedIn at WokenFree. And then, of course, sponsorship, collaborations, same page, Contact Us page at WokenFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do share the episode and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for WokenFree Wednesdays. Remember, WokenFree is more than a podcast, it is a way of life. Until next time.